crochets across that chain at the back, and if you turn it over, you'll see that the braided side, because we put our double crochets into the back bump of the chain, the braided side will be facing outwards, so it just looks better. Hang on, let's adjust the focus a little, and there you go, you can see the braided side nice and facing outwards. So all we do now is we just move straight into putting double crochets into the stitches on the front all the way till we get to the chain 2 from the beginning of the round. So I'll meet back up with you there and we'll talk about how to carry on. Right, now that I've finished the round, I'm just going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 2 from the beginning. So chain 2 from the top of the chain 2. There we go, to close the round. Also, I just wanted to quickly mention before we go further that it doesn't matter about stitch count really, it's more about measurements. Because everything that I make, I sort of try to make it adaptable to different sizes, but like with minimum of fuss, so you don't really need to count stitches, more just, you know, measure. Try it on as you go, measure things, you know, see what works for you. Okay, just want to say that. Now, what we're going to do from here is we're going to continue with the skirt part. So we chain up 2, and like I said, we're turning the work for each round. And we're going to be going back in the other direction, double crochets. Now don't put your first double crochet directly into the stitch beneath the chain 2, so not into that one, but into the next one along. And the reason we're going to be doing that is because your final stitch for the end of the round will be into that stitch just there, the slip stitch. So hang on, let me just get my hook out there. So that final stitch will go into that one just there beside the chain. So yeah, now what I'm going to be doing from here is I'm going to be doing 5 just straight rounds of no increase, but when I get to the 6th round I'm going to start to increase. And how I'm going to be doing that is I'm going to be increasing every 20th stitch for round 6, then I'm going to do another 4 rounds, and on the 5th round I'm going to be increasing every 20th stitch, and I'm going to keep doing that until I'm happy with the width. So you can increase more, you can increase less, you know, it's what works for you really, but I would prefer the straighter rather than the frilly skirt, so that's why I'm doing it sort of a little more gradually. And if you want it to be even more frilly, you can increase every 10th stitch, and you know, every 2nd round or so. But yeah, for me I just want it to be gradual, so that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, just continue increasing however you want to do it, but like I said, for me it's going to be every 5th round, and every 20th stitch is going to be 2 stitches into the same stitch, and that's after I've done 5 of these straight rows of no increase. I really hope that makes sense. So once I've done that, once I've completed my skirt, and once it's as long as I want it to be, and once your skirt is as long as you want it to be, we're going to get working on the edging and the straps. So what I'm thinking is we're going to start in the corner just here where there's the back, and maybe work along the back doing single, hang on, we'll start on this corner, work along the back doing single crochets, then we will work our way up this side till we get to the top corner, first top corner, then we will chain a length, but you know, we'll get to it when we get to it. For now, let's just work on the skirt. We'll meet back up when we're ready to do the edging and the straps. Alright, so I'm going to put the skirt aside for a bit and start work on the straps and the seam, the straps and the edging. And so you're going to grab the yarn that you're going to be using for that. So for me that's this navy blue, and you're going to find the end of that, and you're going to make a slip knot. So just like that. And then go to the left side of the front. So there's the top of the front, and just there. And when you try it on, that's the left. So making sure the right side is facing towards you. You're going to go into the last row you did before you joined to the back. So there's the join just there. So there's that row from the back. And there's the last row you did before that. So we're going to be putting single crochets into every row end because they're double crochets. So 2 single crochets per row end. So slipping your hook in through there, through that first part. See, there's two parts to every row end. So there's part 1, part 2. Then moving on to the next one, which is just there. There's part 1, part 2. There's always something, that little bit there that divides the row end. Okay, so sticking your hook through the first part just there. You're going to adjust your slip knot to the hook, pull it through, adjust the knot to the hook, and chain up 1. So just like that, chaining up 1. And next to that chain 1, you're going to put a single crochet. Then into the next part of that row end, another single crochet. And you're going to be working these single crochets, 2 into each row end, up until the top, up until the corner at the top, where we're going to start work on the first strap. But before we get to that, we're going to stop at the 13th row from the top, because we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So I'll meet back up with you then, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, now here I am at the 13th row from the top. So there's the top, and there's the 13th row. Now, what we're going to be doing into this row end, there's going to be 3 single crochets. That's better. So, you've got that first part and you've got the second part. So into the first part of the row end, you put a single crochet. Then you're going to loosely chain 2. So just chain 2 like that. And into that same part, put another single crochet. And then into the next part of the row end, your other single crochet. So there you've got a space where you're going to be able to thread the strap through, and you're going to do that for the again for the 13th row from the top on the other side. So you're going to be doing that into the bottom part of that row end. So now you work your single crochets all the way until you get to the top, this top left hand corner of the dress. So I'll meet back up with you there and we'll talk about how we're going to do the straps. Alright, now here I am at the top, and I'm going to put one final single crochet just into that very beginning chain that we did for the dress, just to make sure that we're right into the top of the dress, just there. Top corner, just like that. Now we're going to start work on the straps. So for the first strap, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making it longer than the second strap, because I want the straps to cross at the back once and link through these, then cross again and wrap around the front a couple of times. And I'm going to be making the straps different lengths because I want the knot or the bow, when it's tied up, to sort of sit to the side at the front. So yeah, we're going to be doing that. And to do that, we're going to have to make the straps fairly long. So I'm going to chain for the first one a length of 450. And the reason that is so long is because when you what we're doing is we're chaining and then we're slip stitching back into that chain till we get back down to the beginning just here, working our single crochets along the front till we get to the other corner and doing the other strap. And the reason it's so long is because when you put the slip stitches back in to work back down the chain, it reduces the length of the chain. So that's why that is. And also because we want it to wrap around a couple of times, so we want it to be fairly long. I was actually going to do 500, but I thought that might be a bit ridiculous. So we're just going to stick with 450 for this one, and then 400 for the other strap. So I'm going to go away. I'm going to chain my 450. I'll meet back up with you when we've done that, and I'll show you how to slip stitch back. Okay, see you soon. Oh, alright, now that I've chained my extremely long chain of 450, I'm going to slip stitch back down to the beginning again. So to do that, you skip the first chain from the hook, so that one just there, and slip stitch into the second one along, and then into the next one, slip stitch again, and you're just going to keep doing this till you get back to the beginning, and I'll meet back up with you there, and we'll talk about what to do next. So yeah, just as simple as this. I know it seems kind of tedious, but the reason we're doing this is because it makes the strap easier to wear. Like if it's too thin, it cuts into you and it's not comfortable. So this gives it a bit of a cushion. It's a little more comfortable. Alright, we'll meet back up soon and we'll talk about the next step. Okay, now that I've slip stitched all the way back down to the beginning of that chain, I'm going to put a single crochet into the spot where I put the single crochet that I did before that chain, so that just focus better. Yeah, and just in there, so putting another single crochet in beside that, and there is strap number 1. So I'll put that to the side for a moment. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to put a single crochet into the other side of this chain along the top. So see, just above the double crochets there. So you're just putting it single crochets all along the top till you get to the other corner where I'm going to be chaining, you're going to be chaining 400. So this is for my size as well, if you want to make the chain longer or if you want to make it shorter. If you want to put in extra notches where you can thread on the back so you can cross it over again and thread it through, you can do that as well. Like, it's so easy to modify and adapt, you know. So, but for me, when I get to this corner, I'm going to be doing the same thing I did here, so single crochet into the corner, followed by the chain, the length that you want it to be. So for me, it's going to be 400, slip stitches back, and then when I get to this, well, I'm going to get back down to the end of the chain, single crochets back down the other side. And remember, on the 13th row, I did a single crochet, or 2 single crochet, no, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into the same spot. And remember, that was on the first part. On the other side, it was the first part of the 13th row. So that means that on this side, it'll be the second part of the 13th row, just to mirror that other side. So yeah, it's as simple as that. That's what I'm doing. And then when I get back down the end of the other side, I am going to put an edging in on the back as well. So I'm going to go through all the stitches of the back to the other end, and then it'll just be as simple as slip stitching into that chain from the beginning. There we go. So slip stitching into the top of that chain 1, just in there, and then we'll be finished. So that's all we're doing. I'm gonna do my skirt a little bit longer, and I've actually put a split in the side of the skirt as well. So instead of continuing the rounds, I've stopped doing rounds and just going back and forth again. And I think I'm gonna put edging on the bottom of the skirt and up the side of the split as well. So I think it's gonna look really nice. But yeah, apart from that, I think we all know where to go from here, so it's gonna be okay. We'll meet back up again when our dresses are finished. So we'll meet back up again, we'll try on our dresses, we'll see how they look. I'm sure they're gonna look really good. Yeah, but seriously, such a basic dress, this one. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you again soon. Here we are, all finished. So yeah, I really like the way this one turned out. I think it's really cute. So obviously very similar to the original basic simple summer dress that I made, just with a couple of differences with the straps and the hem at the bottom. But apart from that, most basic summer dress. And yeah, so that was 5 skeins of the light blue to make the dress, plus an extra skein of the navy blue to do the straps and the hems and the trimming and everything. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please feel free to give it a like, and if you'd like to subscribe to join me for some more fun, I'd love to have you join me, and I'll see you soon.